Hey guys, today we're going to go over how to sword fight. We're going to talk about the basic mechanics and give you a few tips and tricks. So, the basic mechanics. There's a swing, there's a lunge, and a block. The swing is when you pull the trigger and the sword does what it's exactly supposed to do. It's supposed to swing. There's a lunge. When you hold the trigger, it'll lunge you forward, giving a heavier or harder attack against your opponent. When you hold the left trigger, it'll block and put you into a block stance, and it'll reduce the amount of damage taken by another sword coming in. It doesn't stop any damage from occurring. Damage still happens when you're blocking, but it reduces the amount of damage that you take. So, how do you use each mechanic and when do you use it? So when you're coming up against a guy that has a sword out, you probably want to use your block, because from a blocking position, you can swing, you can lunge, you can move side to side. When you swing the sword and you don't actually hit anything, there's a little bit of delay. So one of the tips and tricks that I use is when you're swinging a sword at somebody else, make sure to also hit the ground or a wood door frame or the side of the ship. That way there's a reduced cooldown after every swing. Good example is if you're swinging and hit a tree, you can actually get 3 swings in repetitive order, whereas when you miss, there's a little bit of a delay. Also, use the lunge sparingly. So when you use your lunge, there's a bit of a build-up where you can't move. You lunge forward with the heavy hit, and then there's a stop and a slowdown afterwards, a cool down to reduce you from just jumping right back into battle. So make sure that you're lunging at the appropriate time so that you know you're going to take that final swing. A little tip and trick with the lunge is if you block and lunge at the same time, so you start from a blocked position, you're actually able to move around where you can't when you just lunge on its own. So if you block, then lunge, you can actually jump, you can move side to side, and you're not actually impeded by the game mechanics that are in place. Also, when you're in the block position, you can jump side to side, back and forward. This allows you to jump in a direction that you're holding on your gamepad. This is also really effective to get away from an enemy. You can flank them to the right and left, or jump backwards and avoid a lunge. Biggest tips and tricks. Make sure to actually hit the ground or a doorway or anything else that is near you when you're attacking another player. This comes very important when you're raiding the forts. The raid events, you're going to have wave after wave of skeletons that are going to come at you. And the best way to take these on ends up being with a sword. So you can stand in a doorway or on a ramp and actually swing and hit the doorway and hit multiple characters at the same time. Another tip is make sure to use your sword when you have multiple enemies right in front of you. That way when you swing, you're going to actually hit all of them at the same time. You actually have quite a large arc around you that the sword is swinging that you don't really see. So you're able to hit multiple enemies at the same time. Thanks for watching. I hope these tips worked out for you. Please hit the subscribe button below and check out one of our other videos.